Okay, well, thanks everyone for joining us for state permitting. So Janelle is our state engineer. She's the stream obstruction team lead, and she works with her team on permitting for stream obstructions and floodplain fill. If you want to go ahead, Janelle.
Awesome. Thanks, Cheyenne. So we're going to talk about state permitting today, what requires a permit from the Division of Water Resources, Water Structures Program. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat and we will address those at the end of the presentation. With that, I hope everybody can see my screen. There are two laws that are the reason that are required to have permits. One's the Stream Obstruction Act, KSA 82A 301 et al. And the second one is KSA 24-126, the levy law. These are the two laws that my group upholds in the Water Structures Program. KSA 82A 301 et al. Talks about the construction or modification or repair of a dam and then work in a designated stream. KSA 24-126 talks about the construction of a levee or the placement of floodplain fill within a floodplain. So we're going to talk about KSA 82A 301 first and KSA 24-126 last. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what the definition of a dam is per these laws. A dam is a structure that is for impounding water and is 25 feet or greater in height, or 6 feet or greater in height and has a volume of 50 or more acre feet. These include dry detention ponds because it says that is for impounding water. It doesn't say that you have to have water behind it all the time. So there are some differences between maintenance and repairs. So maintenance items are if you're just controlling putting in grass seeding, having some burrowing animals, replenishment of ripraps, removal of debris from the spillways. Types of repairs are your pipeline replacement, your slip line of pipes, embankment modifications, or to modify the auxiliary spillway. The repairs require permits, the maintenance does not require permits. So there is a caveat in 82A-301 about a Class A exemption. If the dam height is less than 30 feet and the storage is less than 125 acre feet at the emergency spillway, the dam is low hazard, meaning that the hazards below the dam that would be inundated by the dam failure don't have a high, like a person down there, a house, a high volume road. All you're required is to register the dam, and the dam safety team must do a determination. Please note that even if you get a Class A exemption for your dam, you still may require a floodplain fill permit. So our registration form is on our website. You have to fill it out and you have to provide some information about your dam. I suggest if anyone wants to build a dam, that they do this first before they even think about moving some dirt. So if you really want to build a dam, then hire an engineer and get a determination from DWR and the U.S. Corps of Engineers. What you see on the other side of your screen is a dam that did not get permitting and cost that particular landowner a lot of money to get it all mitigated through DWR and the U.S. Corps. If they had just called first, it probably would have saved them a lot of money. Another thing to note about ponds or pond dams is that a water appropriation permit, which is another group within DWR, is required if you are to store more than 15 acre feet of water behind the dam, or you're going to use a groundwater well to fill the pond. We have 4 field offices. That's the map that covers the different parts of our state. before you build a pond that's going to hold more than 15 acre-feet of volume, you might want to call one of our offices to make sure that there is water rights for you to get in that area. So now we're going to talk about working in a designated stream. What is a designated stream? According to the law, it's a natural or man-made channel that drains the watershed of, in our eastern part of our state, 1 square mile or more. In the center of our state, 2 square miles or more, and in our western part of our state, 3 square miles or more. I know that you're thinking right now, how will I know how much drainage area comes to my location? There's this nifty tool called USGS Stream Stats. You can Google it and it comes up, and you can put in the lat and long of the location that you're working in, and it will bring up the area and tell you the drainage area. So a stream obstruction permit is required if you're working within the channel of a designated stream. So if you're constructing or modifying a stream obstruction, such as a bridge or a culvert, modifying the stream channel, so say if you're straightening the stream channel, or you're moving gravel or sand within the bank lines of the stream. So stream obstructions, like I said, could be a culvert, bridge, a low water crossing, a pipeline, utility crossing, and even temporary crossings are considered stream obstructions. Modifying the stream channel could be straightening the stream, cleaning out a stream of silt. That's the common question around here. Yes, if you're going to use anything mechanical in a stream, you're going to have a permit. And then stream bank stabilization or preventment all require permits. Aggregate removal, sand and gravel removal for roads or sale. You're going to need a permit, and in streams with a drainage area of 50 square miles or more, or harvesting more than 100 cubic yards per year, you're going to need a permit. Up above is a gravel removal, I believe, in Chase County, and below is a sand dredge operation on the Kansas River. So how do I get a permit? One, complete the application form. The most important thing is the contact information if we have any questions. A location map, Google Earth is fine. Just, you might know where the project is, we don't, and a map usually helps us. Plans, we'll need a plan view and a cross-section view of the project. We'll need specification of how you're going to build the project, how you're going to compact it, what kind of material you're going to use, that kind of thing. A benchmark nearby, the appropriate fee, which we'll talk about in a minute. Hydraulic analysis, copies of easements or owner permission. So if you're doing this for an owner, we're going to need something signed by that owner saying that it's okay for you to apply for this permit. A stability analysis for slopes steeper than 2 to 1. And most importantly, you need a licensed engineer if the mean annual flow is greater than 100 CFS. So those are our larger streams. They usually have the name river next to them. That usually indicates that has 100 CFS or more mean annual flow. If any fill is more than 1 foot in the floodplain, this will also require a floodplain fill permit. We'll get to that in a minute. So the location map, like I said, you can use a Google Earth image. This is what we got on one application with a nice bright arrow telling us where the bridge was going to be. This is a plan view, or what people call a top view. This is a cross-section view. This is an example of a channel change. You can see that you have the plan view right here showing us the extent of the project, a cross-section of what the project will look like once it's done, and then a profile of the stream so we know that we have positive slope, so everything will drain from top to bottoms. These are examples of gravel removal plan. You need a plat of where you're going to remove it. And then cross sections of where you're going to remove the gravel from. Construction specifications. If you're going to use KDOT or a city or county that is already published, you could just note that on your plans. These are examples of some specifications that we've gotten. You can see that somebody used the KDOT specifications, and then somebody else just outlined exactly how they were going to build the channel, how they were going to do that channel change. Application fees. Okay, if your watershed is less than 5 square miles, it's only $100. Watershed area is 5 to 50 square miles, it's $200. And the watershed is greater than 50 square miles, it's $500. Again, if you're not sure, you use USGS stream stats, or you can call our office and ask us to do a determination on the fee. Other items that we talked about, hydraulic analysis, we need to know the impact of the stream obstruction. Basically, you can't harm anybody else by putting in the stream obstruction. If we need owner permission or easements, if you're working on a property or any of your work will impact that property, even the hydraulic analysis shows that some of the water will back up onto somebody else's property. We're going to need an easement for that person that you're going to affect. A stability analysis for channel slopes deeper than 2 to 1, and a need for an engineer. If you're on the Kansas, Arkansas, or Missouri River, you automatically need to have a licensed engineer in the state of Kansas do your work for you. And then the mean annual flow, like I said, greater than 100 PFS. You can email applications to our website, which is also on the application on our website. Please note that we will not review it until we receive fees. So there are a couple of things that you can get a general permit for. A general permit is a shorter process in our review. It's for bridge and culvert replacements. That's if you're going to put in a culvert that's bigger than the original one, the cross-sectional within the culvert is bigger than or the same as the original. You're not going to do a lot of channel work, and the road grade's not going to change. Sand and gravel removal, the drainage area is less than 50 square miles, and you're only going to limit to 100 cubic yards per year. So if you're going to use it for personal use, you can usually get a general permit for sand and gravel removal. Pipeline crossings, if you're going to do something by open trench, and the drainage area is less than 50 square miles, you don't need a permit. If it's greater than 50 square miles, you do need a permit if you're going to do it by open trench. And it needs to be 5 foot below the stream bed on smaller streams and 7 feet below the stream bed on larger streams. For your information, the picture over there that looks like the river is the Arkansas River near Arkansas City. That is the dark object, which I'm not sure if anybody can see, but right here is a gas pipeline that was sticking out into the river that was put there illegally, that we spent a couple months trying to get that taken out. So the general permit application, if you think your project meets that general permit, it's a culvert replacement, it is a gravel removal, or it's a pipeline work, you need to do the first application, the 2-200 and the 2-126 that you see on your screen. You got to make sure that road is not going to be raised more than a foot. Plans are required if your drainage area in zone 1, which is our eastern part of our state, is greater than 4 square miles. In the middle of our state, if the drainage area is greater than 6 square miles, you're going to need to provide some plans. And then in our western part of our state, 8 square miles in zone 3, you're going to have to give us some plans. If it's doesn't meet those conditions, you don't have to send us any plans. You can just send us the application, 2 applications, and a check for $100, and everything is taken care of. So most important thing is to fill out these things about your culvert change so that we know that it meets that general permit condition. It's not a quiz, but we do need to know some things about your project. There's another exemption that is for minor projects. A permit is not required of a stream obstruction if it disturbs less than 25 feet along the stream length. So in this case, the bridge that you see before, the width of the bridge is less than 25 feet, and the project doesn't block more than 50% of the channel. So basically, I tell people it goes from bank to bank with no work in the actual channel. These include pedestrian bridges, low water crossings with culverts, boat ramps, intake and outtake structure. What I would recommend is always obtain a determination from our office prior to the construction, just to make sure that you meet that minor project exemption and you can have that in writing. Another exemption is a rural project exemption. A permit is not required for an obstruction if doesn't meet the definition of a dam, is in an unincorporated area, the drainage area is less than 5 square miles, it's 300 feet, including all the water that is pounded by it from the adjacent property, and it's not in a floodplain. These are usually small ponds and private driveway culverts. Again, I always stress that you should get a permit determination before you do the construction, just to make sure that you are all on the same page. With that, we're going to go to floodplain fill. So now we're at 24-126, the floodplain, what's called the levee law or floodplain fill law. You need a permit if you fill within a floodplain or floodway. The definition of fill by the state is material, soil, rock, rubble placed in a floodplain to an average height of greater than 1 foot. So examples of this is levees, building pads, wetlands, duck marshes, aggregate or soil stockpiles. That picture over there is a Lyon County, for lack of a better term, levee that was built in the middle of the night without permits. It took a long time to get that all resolved. So these are pictures of type of the projects. This is it's a levee, a duck marsh, and a building pad. These all require floodplain fill permits. Unconsolidated material stockpiles. These are just stockpiles that are put in the floodplain, usually for sand and gravel mining operations. They don't require a permit if they were there before 1929, if they were there before a firm map was put in place, if the sand and gravel site was there before 2006, and it meets all the following: it's outside the floodway, is less than 270 days, and is restored, or meets the following: outside the floodway, less than 270 days, and is restored within 90 days. So if you have a temporary stockpile, say for construction, it's not in a floodway, it's only going to be there for a little while, and you're going to take it out, then you don't need a permit. But again, you need something in writing from DWR to say that that's going to happen. It shouldn't obstruct a stream flow. It shouldn't redirect the stream flow. It shouldn't block any culverts and channels. So don't put it in someone's road ditch if you're going to have a stockpile. So how can I know if I'm in a floodplain? Well, the first place you would check is the FEMA Floodplain Flood Map Service Center. It's a great website. You can put your address or latitude and longitude in here and search for it. Shows you exactly if you're in a floodplain and what kind of floodplain. Say you're in a zone A and you need to know what the base flood elevation is. Our floodplain group has an incredible portal. You register for the account, you put in a map, and then, you put in a map, you put in a square around it, and then you indicate what you want, whether you want just the elevation of the BFE, if you want the map model, if you want the hydraulic model, if you want all that stuff, and then our group will turn around and give it to you. So what are our floodplain fill application requirements? One, a complete application. Again, fill it out. It's not a quiz, but the more information you put on it, the better off we're going to be. A location map, plans, plan view and a cross-section view, specifications, benchmark, appropriate fee, a stability analysis for anything greater than 3:1 in this case, a hydraulic analysis. This is required for all floodplain fills, most specifically for a floodway analysis. Floodway analysis must be done by HECRAS. And a licensed engineer is required for floodway fills. Height of fill is greater than 4 feet, or it's a Class C levee. So location map, just pointing where they're going to put this house. This is the grading plan for a pad. So this shows us the existing contours and the proposed contours, and then it shows us cross section and shows us what the finished floor elevation will be for the proposed building. Specifications just tells us how you're going to, what kind of fill you're going to use and what kind of, how you're going to compact it. These people use the city of Topeka's compaction specifications, which is fine because we can look it up. So permit application fees. Let me first go over what a Class A, Class B, and Class C levy is. A Class A levy is also known as agricultural levy. Means that if it were to break or be breached, it would only harm agricultural land or agricultural buildings. A Class B levy is one that would if it were breached or overtopped, it would only harm minor roads and some ag buildings. Class C levy is one that if it would breach, someone could be hurt because their house is behind it. So for a Class A levy, it's $100. Class B levy is $300, and Class C levy is $500. There are after the fact fees. They are not so that you can build it and then get a permit. These are if you make a mistake and you forgot to get a permit, just because you didn't know, then you have to pay twice the fees. For floodplain fills, if you're in the fringe, which is right next to a floodway, then it's $100. A floodplain zone A fill is $300, and a floodway fill is $500. Same thing. After the fact fee is not so you could go build it and then get the permit. It's if you make a mistake and start the project without getting proper permitting. $200, $600, and $1,000. As I said, hydraulic analysis is required for all applications except for those in the completely in the fringe area. We need owner permission. We need a stability analysis for fills with side slopes steeper than 3:1. So our retaining walls, stuff like that, we will need a stability analysis. And then you need an engineer for a Class C levy, fills higher than 4 feet, and fills in the floodway. Again, you can email your applications to our website or our web email, but we will not review the application until we receive payment. So there are some projects that have both a floodplain fill and a stream obstruction or a channel change. We take the higher of the two fees. So in this case, we have a bridge. You can see that the existing ground and the proposed ground is more than a foot rise. So they're trying to make that bridge have a little bit open area. So this would require a stream obstruction and a floodplain fill. So in this case, for that example, the drainage area was 4 square miles. So that would have been $100 fee. And then the road was raised more than a foot in a zone A, which is $300. So the fee is $300, which is the higher of the fees. So who needs a permit? It says in both laws that any person, partnership, association, corporation, agency, political subdivision of the state government needs a permit. So this includes KDOT, a city, a county, a levy district, a township, a pipeline company, wind turbines, the turnpike, they all need permits. There is one exception to this. There is a federal law that says that railroads do not have to get state and local permitting if they're doing work within their existing right-of-way. Most of our railroad companies in the state of Kansas are incredibly helpful and want to make sure that they have all proper permitting so they don't throw this law out very often. So just so you know that railroads don't require state permitting, but most of our railroad partners do ask for permitting for their bridges and work in their railroads. So why does it take our application so long to be processed? Well, there's another law, 82A 325 to 327, that all applications received by the Division of Water Resource must go through a 30-day review by 7 state agencies, Wildlife and Parks, Forest Service, State Biological Survey, Kansas Department of Health and Environment, State Historical Society, and the Kansas Department of Agriculture Division of Corporations and the State Corporation Commission. So that they have to stay there with 30 days. We have made an agreement with those 7 agencies that those general permits, those culvert replacements, those pipeline crossings, and that gravel removal can have 7 days for review rather than the 30. So if you need more information, this is our website. You can go there. You can also contact me. This is my phone number and name. If you have any questions about floodplain ordinances, please call Cheyenne. She knows much more about it. She also knows much more about FEMA than I do. She's much smarter than I am. If you want to obtain a HECRAS model, please use the BFE portal. If you have complaints in your area, if you are a local city or county and you have complaint issues, please contact me. That is my phone number. This is also my email address and my cell phone number. Please note I do not answer the cell after 5 o'clock. And with that, I will stand for question. Can't see the chat, so if somebody could help me with that, I appreciate it.
So Marilyn asked, how do you determine mean annual flow for a waterway?
So usually the mean annual flow is given on USGS, but if you're not 100% sure, you can always reach out to our office and we can get that information for you.
Okay, and then Brian asks, does Public Works need to pay a fee?
Yes, Public Works needs to pay a fee. KDOT needs to pay a fee. Everybody has to pay a fee. I don't work for free.
Well, that was all the questions that were in the chat. So if there's anyone that wants to come off mute to ask something.
So if we've got a developer doing a sand dredging operation for a development later on, few years down the road, do we obtain the permit or does he obtain the permit?
He should obtain the permit, Mitch. He's doing the work. If it's in the floodplain then and it's on his property, then he should obtain the permit. If it's on the city or county's ground, then the county should apply for the permit.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, and then do communities need to wait to issue a local floodplain permit until the state permit is issued? And typically we say yes. that you need to get all other state and federal permits that are required before you issue the floodplain development permit, to make sure that, you know, they're in compliance.
And you are welcome as a community to reach out to me to see if they've gotten a permit or if they need a permit, or if you have any questions about any of that. I'd be happy to answer your questions. I know Cheyenne would also be happy to answer your questions.
And then does your permit explain if a LOMAR is required?
So usually we have a condition if we believe that a letter of map revision or a LOMAR is needed. We usually put that condition, but for your general knowledge, a letter of map revision is required if the floodplain maps will change. Either the BFE will increase or decrease, or the shape of the floodplain will change, or your channel, if that's going to be straightened, should require a letter of map revision.
Okay, I guess that's all the questions that we've had. So if you want the certificate for this class, let me know. You can just send me an email or however you want to get a hold of me, I can get those out to you. And then this will be posted to our website if you have people that weren't able to attend. And then as Janelle said, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. But we appreciate you attending our state permitting training, and thanks, Janelle.
My pleasure.
Thank you.